Hey there, Mustangs. Miss Jones here with Liberty Porter, first daughter, and we are going to read Chapter 3. Liberty's father has been sworn in as the president. She has met her Secret Service agent who will be with her, and she received the best gift of all, a cell phone. Chapter 3. The biggest challenge in Liberty's life was about to happen. Liberty was moving to a new house. Not just any house, the White House. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Liberty Porter was moving into the White House? She couldn't believe it. Only 3 people in the world would be living in the White House. Liberty, her mom, and her dad. And one dog, Franklin. Liberty couldn't wait. Do we get into the White House yet? She asked her father. You mean your new home? He smiled at her. The schedule is for you both and Liberty to stay here for a speech, Miss Crum told Liberty's parents. Another speech? Liberty had sat through days of speeches, years of speeches. Another parade would be fine, another concert, sure, but another speech? She was about to move into a new house. She felt like she was going to burst if she had to wait any longer. Are things moved into the house yet? Oh, are things moved into the house yet? Her father asked Miss Crum. Not everything, Miss Crum said. The staff is unpacking your boxes, moving furniture, hanging pictures, getting the rooms ready. Liberty understood. There were a lot of rooms in the White House. A lot. She learned that when she did her research report. She knew there were 132 rooms, 28 fireplaces, and 8 staircases. And if she had to go to the bathroom, there were 35 bathrooms. Liberty's parents had visited the White House. The former president and his family had taken them all around, but Liberty hadn't seen it yet. The old president and his family had to move out today, and then quickly people would move her family stuff in. Her mom had said it would take only a few hours, which was super fast to move a whole house. But to Liberty it seemed like forever. Suddenly Sam mumbled it into his earpiece. Liberty tried to listen. It sounded like... Liberty needed to learn the Secret Service language. Liberty held her ear and practiced the language. Miss Crum gave her a lip. Ruffles' bedroom is ready, Sam announced. In that minute, Liberty didn't care that he'd just called her Ruffles. She just cared about the bedroom part. Then Liberty should see her room, her father said. Liberty couldn't help it. She let out a big and loud, yes! Miss Crum frowned. I will have to alert Chief Usher Lee, Miss Crum said. We will see what he says of this change of plans. She held up her cell phone to make a call. Liberty held her breath. Miss Crum said. Chief Usher Lee said he is looking forward to it. Yes! Liberty was going to see her new bedroom in the White House. This was major, important, huge. Have fun, Liberty Belle, her father said, giving her a hug. Your mother and I will finish what we have to do, and then we'll meet up with you for a homecoming. Okay, Liberty said. She held up her phone. Text me. And then her mother told Miss Crum to walk Liberty to the door to meet the Chief Usher. Miss Crum did not look pleased. Liberty made plans to ditch her as soon as possible. That would make them both happy. Liberty skipped alongside Sam, and they reached the front of the White House. She actually lived in the White House! Liberty and Franklin started jumping around. Goodness, Miss Crum said, you do have a lot of energy. Liberty guessed that meant settle down. I do hope you appreciate the importance of the White House, Miss Crum said to Liberty. It is not just a home for you. It is a museum containing precious objects from history. It is an office where people work. Liberty was prepared. It is a symbol of the United States. The White House stands for freedom and hope, Liberty said proudly. I'm honored to live here. Oh, Miss Crum said, then we can go in now. Sam winked at her. Liberty winked back. Liberty was so ready to go in. She was at the steps of her new home, America's home. She stood tall and saluted, and then she walked up the stairs. Liberty thought about what Miss Crum had said about first impressions. She stood as straight as she could. She walked carefully into the entry. Welcome, Miss Porter, said a man with black hair wearing a dark suit with a striped tie. Liberty noticed he had the shiniest black shoes she had ever seen. I am the Chief Usher. The staff is very pleased to welcome you to your new home. Thank you, Liberty said in her best polite voice. I am looking forward to meeting everyone. Liberty hoped that was a good first impression. She held out her hand for an official shake. The Chief Usher shook her hand. Chief Usher Lee is in charge of making sure the White House runs smoothly, Miss Crum told her. There are 95 people who work here, Chief Usher Lee said. People who cook, who clean, who fix things. I'll try not to make any messes or break anything, Liberty said. I will walk, not run. Chief Usher Lee bent down to look at Liberty. He looked her straight in the eye. Liberty, he said, first children have run through these halls for 200 years. They have walked on stilts and roller skated. They sat on kitchen trays and slid down the staircases. Goodness! Miss Crumb gasped. I don't think the kitchen trays are a good idea, Chief Usher agreed, but you do not have to walk slowly. Liberty looked at the shiny, very clean floor. This floor is very shiny, Liberty observed, and very clean. And very slippery, Chief Usher said. Liberty looked at Chief Usher and he nodded that was all Liberty needed. Liberty slipped off her shoes and took a running start and whoosh! Slid down the hall. She was probably going to 3,000 miles per hour. Liberty slid halfway across the room. Woo-hoo! Liberty yelled. Liberty! Miss Crumb gasped. But Chief Usher started clapping. Bravo! Chief Usher called, and it shall go down in the history books. Liberty Porter entered the White House with a most impressive slide. Liberty had a feeling she was going to like Chief Usher Liberty fixed her tights where they had gotten stuck between her toes. She slid her black shoes back on. She ignored that Miss Crumb had her hands over her eyes and was shaking her head. Are you ready to see your new room now? Chief Usher asked. Liberty was ready. Very, very ready. Wow, so far it's off to a good start, except for Miss Crumb, who's a real bummer, but it sounds like Chief Usher is going to be a really cool guy that Liberty gets to hang out with. All right, Mustangs, that's the end of Chapter 3. Next time, we will do Chapter 4. Until then, take care.